photos that I took on the day, just on the wall over here. These are a series of photos of the park that I took during the day or during the fire. The first one at the top here is as the fire started to come towards us. This is an ember attack, just on the other side of the river. It flared up very, very quickly, incredibly quickly, forced by the winds. It was very challenging being in a centre of a park, being completely surrounded by flames. We hadn't expected the ferocity. This is where we lost the battle, and we started to lose caravans, and they burnt out very, very quickly. It just went black, just went completely black. Glencromie Park is situated in Druin West, surrounded in the close areas of Druin, Warragul, Neerim South, and not too far to Mount Baw either. We have the absolute luxury of being green all year round, so it's very lush, very green, very pretty with rolling hills environment. We've got around 120 sites, 60 powered and 60 unpowered. Obviously we're busier during the peak seasons in summer, being we've got the river running through the park and lovely open areas and green all year round, so it's a great family park. Kids get to play in the water and run around. We've got not quite 40 acres on the park. The lower area here in the bottom of the valley is around 8 acres, and that's the actual caravan park. The other 30 odd acres was completely burnt out.
Probably an hour before the fire got here, we had spot fires happening, embers falling out of the sky. So basically we thought these caravans were all safe here because there's no bush directly behind them. Obviously an ember fell in the right spot and set off a caravan. With that blazing, the next 4 or 5 caravans beside them caught alight. Then we had gas bottles shooting 5 metre flames off them, and on it went. So the only thing we could come up with was to drag a van out either side of them and make a big fire break, and we saved the rest of them, which there was 20 in a row. So yeah, we were pretty lucky.
It looked like Armageddon, especially up on the flatter area of the top there. It was like a moonscape. It was just all black and the ground was white, like a white dust everywhere. There was nothing that hadn't been touched. We had all walking tracks through the bushland, a big amphitheatre, which has got a lovely seating area. We had bridges and bird watching huts and picnic tables and chairs. They all just didn't exist anymore. Everything was gone. The immediate 6 weeks after the fire, obviously loss of income, just in forward bookings alone that were cancelled, that we lost tens of thousands of dollars. We looked back and equated that to the same period the previous year, and the figures were up around $60,000 just in that 6 week period. The cleanup costs that we incurred during that 6 week period were substantial. The first few weeks afterwards, there was no doubt in our minds. We were staying, we were fighting. I think then when we started to realise the financial implications of where we were going and what could very likely happen, and that the park itself was just at a point where we could very easily go bankrupt unless we inject our own personal assets into it again, that was a really hard call. And I think too, again, because of your mindset, you're all over the place. You've got a lot of negativity going on in between all of that, and self-doubt, can we actually do this? And the job looks bigger than Ben-Hur. The rebuilding, obviously the people that lost their caravans, the walking tracks have all just been re-established, and the picnic tables and chairs. There's still a lot more to do out there.
For at least 2 to 3 weeks after, it was black ash all over me every day trying to clean up this mess. We have storage tanks up in the hills, 24,000 litre rainwater tanks, concrete ones, and I made sure they were full the night before, so we had plenty of water, and the heat was so extreme up there they cracked and leaked out all the water. So that was one of our problems, not having water on the park, for the reason that it was shut for 6 weeks. The caravans that burnt, we lost a few power heads that supply power to them.
We lost, 6 caravans in total, and another 5 are very badly damaged. Initially, obviously, the park was closed, and we have about a 12-week window of opportunity in our peak season, and we were closed for 6 weeks of those. Then when we reopened, the impact then started with people's perception of the park, and we don't want to go there, it's a bushfire affected zone. So the cancellations started coming through as soon as we were reopened for business. We were very much underinsured, even though we thought we were fully insured. You would assume that having a policy for a caravan park covers caravan park things, especially your miscellaneous items. For us, miscellaneous items were things like 20 wheelie bins melted and burnt to nothing. They're not insured. So we took substantial losses.
The money was running out
very
quickly.
quickly.
We had money to start with, but then when it stops coming in, it runs out really quickly. So
I think we were in a very lucky position compared to a lot of people. We had just gone through the whole January season, which is probably the busiest month we have on the caravan park. So we already had a fair amount of money in the bank. We really weren't looking for assistance because at that point we had the money in the bank. We thought we'll be fine, we'll get through this. But by approaching the bank, we did find out we were entitled to have our loans frozen for 3 months, which was a huge help. And it was amazing to see not only the community pull together to help each other, but the business region as a whole pull together to help each other was really encouraging. Change of pricing wasn't an option for us, but what we did was, rather than drop prices, was to value add or create an experience. So we were over delivering as opposed to discounting. We'd have weekend packages, 2 nights, which would give you an early check-in, a late check-out, a free latte, and vouchers to various other businesses. And one of the things we did to be cooperative was, when a guest checked in, I give them a sheet of paper with vouchers for other businesses in the area that were suffering as well, to encourage them to go to this business and you'll get this, or you'll get this. And that worked really well. I think sometimes people prefer value adding than discounts, and we couldn't afford to discount, so we looked at what wouldn't cost us any extra to value add. It was exceptionally hard. Our marketing changed considerably. The places that we would normally advertise and the type of marketing we would normally do, we didn't have the dollars there to do that. We just rolled over into a new financial year, and we'd had to seriously look at the budget and what we had to spend, using good news stories and using publications that were talking about the fires and regeneration, putting in good news stories in there as well. We did have an emergency bushfire plan in place, one that you think you're never going to use, but on the day it actually worked exceptionally well. We found that the procedures we put in place actually made it easier for us all to know what to do, and certainly in dealing with our guests as well. Like, we knew if we were going to make a decision, we had to make it early. We'd already got those things in our procedures, and so at 8:30 on the morning of Black Saturday we made the decision to evacuate. The only way is to keep moving forward. There is no other option. We believe in the park, we believe in what we've got here. It's a beautiful place, we love being here. We've put so much into it. You don't walk away. We'll continue to work on the park, the assets that the park has, and keep making it bigger and better. I think it just makes us stronger.
Yeah, stick with it. It's a real eye-opener. And if you battle on, you'll get through it. It's hard, it's emotional, but you just got to keep on battling on. Someone said to chip away at it to me. They knew the way I work. They said just keep chipping away at it, and eventually you'll get to the other side of it. And that was the way to go, definitely.